Hello YouTubers, how are you today? This is your driver Scott. One of the things that I really like about this job is that you meet a lot of interesting people. You're constantly picking people up, you're having all these conversations. And one of the conversations that come up quite often is the future. And I placed the title the way I placed it was because I can kind of see what's coming, but I just don't know where it's going. The first video that I did, I had a long ride down to Miami. I had a great conversation with this guy, and we were talking about what do we think is going to happen. A lot of back and forth, interesting ideas, and I wind up in conversations like that quite frequently with a lot of different people because a lot of people are interested in it. So I wanted to kind of finish this up. I was driving back home. It was dark, and the video didn't come out the way I wanted it to, the way it looked, but I'm going to leave it the way it is, and I'm just going to go into part 2. So hopefully you'll actually watch part 1, which is kind of difficult. It's more listening to than watching, and then you can go ahead and listen to this one. Anyway, in part 1 I was talking about driverless cars, self-driving cars, driverless cars, and how it's coming. It's going to take a while to get there, and what I wanted to finish up with was how it's going to affect rideshare. And it's not going to affect rideshare like tomorrow or even 5 years from now, even though I believe you're going to see cars on the road that are going to be driverless. It will start to affect it in 5 years, because I think what's going to happen is right now they're doing beta testing. I read an article in New York where they're going to have testing of the driverless cars, and I want to also make this clear that when they're testing it, they're not testing driverless cars. They're testing self-driving features. There's two different things. I recently heard on a radio show that was broadcast from New York down here to South Florida, and they were saying cars are going to be driving by with nobody in it. No, not yet. It's going to take a while for that. You're going to have somebody behind the wheel. It's going to be like cruise control. You're going to have the wheel doing everything, and the person's going to be behind the wheel ready to take over, just like in cruise control. Now you have sensors in the front of the car, you have sensors in the back of the car, so you can kind of detect that kind of stuff. The wheel can turn on its own. Cars can park by themselves. So we're there. We just need to put everything together. Okay? So it's coming, whether you want to or not. What I think is going to happen in 5 years' time is you're going to have You'll see it before then, but it's going to be more prevalent where you're going to have guys behind the wheel and the car's going to be doing all the work, and the guy's just there ready to take over. And how that's going to affect us is that if you have that feature on your car, it's going to bring your insurance rates down, your auto insurance rates, because most of the accidents that we have are due to human error. So if more and more people are going towards these self-driving cars, what's going to happen is the insurance rates are going to go down. It's going to be one of those features, like when you have airbags in your car, your insurance rate goes down, that kind of thing. And they did that before they were standard. So it's going to get there. Okay. Now, how it's going to affect rideshare is eventually the rideshare business is going to be so cheap. You're going to sit there and order a car, and it'll be so inexpensive to order the car and just pay for the miles that you're traveling than it would be to actually buy the car, buy the insurance, do the maintenance on the car, and store the car. So what's going to happen with these self-driving cars is you're going to have the cars will be kind of on the road, and then the only time they'll come in is when they're going to have service done to them or when they need gas. And guys like me, we're not going to have a job. And it's probably not until 10 years from now. I know this is kind of a controversial subject among drivers, but yeah, I believe we're not going to have a job. And it's going to start 10 years from now. I mean, it's going to start 5 years from now, but it's going to take a while to weed everything out, because you need to have all the cars on the road with these features before this is going to be no humans at all. If you catch my drift, you're still going to need humans to take over. But until all the cars are communicating with each other, as long as you have the older cars out on the road, you're not going to be able to go full-on blown driverless. So you're still going to have people behind the car. The thing is, it's going to be harder and harder for guys like me to make a living at rideshare. And what I think is going to happen is you're going to have companies like Alamo, Hertz, Enterprise. They've got an infrastructure already set up, and what they're going to do is they're just going to buy fleets of these driverless cars, and they're going to rent out per ride. I'm sure they're working on it right now. They've got the stations where you return the cars, where they can gas the car up, clean the car, service the car. They've already got that infrastructure. They're going to have all these cars out on the road, where somebody like me, to buy a car and just leave it out on the road doing that, it's probably not going to work. You'll probably have smaller operators who will buy several cars, and they'll have those several cars out on the road, and for them it's going to work. But most individuals that are doing this are probably just not going to have a job soon. When I say soon, I mean at least it's like 10 years down the road. All right, so that's how I think the driverless cars in the future is going to affect rideshare. Another interesting thing I'll get into, I had an investment banker in my car, and he was a young guy who was building his book of business, and he started talking about Bitcoin. And the funny thing about Bitcoin is it was always on my peripherals, and I was like, what is this Bitcoin stuff? What are these cryptocurrencies? What's going on with that? And when he started talking to me, he's telling me that he believes it's the wave of the future. So anyone who knows me knows that, all right, now all of a sudden I'm going to start researching this stuff. I want to see what's going on. And I started looking into Bitcoin. My big concern was hacking. Why can't somebody just hack this stuff? And didn't I hear a story years ago about guys that lost so much money? So anyway, I wanted to find out about it first, okay? So I started looking into it. And here's the interesting thing, a little bit of history real quick, is that you had the collapse, the recession that we had, just a little over 10 years ago. And somebody, I can't pronounce his name, and I apologize, but he decided he was going to take control of finances, take it out of the bank's hands, and put it more into our hands. And one of the ways he did that was he wrote a technology called blockchain. Now, I'm saying he, and I apologize. I don't know if it's a he. We don't know who this person is. We don't know if it's one guy. We don't know if it's several guys. We don't know if it's one woman. We don't know if it's several women. We don't know if it's a mix of guys and women. All I know is that this blockchain technology, from what I've seen, is amazing. It can't be hacked. It's very safe. And the blockchain technology was open source. What that means now, for those of you who don't know, when something's open source, that means it's on the internet. So technically, I can grab my laptop, I can open it up, I can go on the internet, I can access this blockchain technology, I can write my own cryptocurrency, and I could start selling it. Now, why would anyone want to buy cryptocurrency from me? I have no idea. But that's what I mean when I say it's open source. It's there. Now mining, what they call mining, is when you create the cryptocurrency. Mining the cryptocurrency on my laptop is probably not a very effective way to do it. I can, if I want to just sit there, kind of waste my time a little bit, it won't get the results. The guys that are doing the mining now for the cryptocurrencies, you're talking rooms full of computers. So it's not really going to be, it's not really a situation where it's feasible for people to get in. All I'm saying is that, yes, it can be done. That's the deal with the blockchain and the technology behind it. Now, the reason why I'm not getting into whether Bitcoin is good or Ethereum, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry about that. But there's several different types of cryptocurrencies out there. And the reason why I'm not going to get into it is because the way I see it is that, and I'm going to date myself here, this is back in the days when, you had two forms of, there was a time, for those of you who are too young, that you only had network television, and you had the movies. And then there was a time where we could bring movies into our home with this new technology called VCRs. And there were two formats. There was one that was called Betamax, and there was one that was called VHS. And there was a war. There were some people that were buying VHS, some people were buying Betamax. And those that were buying the Betamax, I looked at it, and it was the better quality, right? And the VHS, the reason why VHS won, it beat Beta, even though Beta had the better quality, was because VHS, you could record the game. People wanted to record the Super Bowl and come home and watch the Super Bowl. And you couldn't do that on Beta. Beta, you could only do about 20 to 30 minutes. Now, Beta was owned by Sony, and it kind of had to go up the chain to find out that this is what people were doing, and then come down the chain. And because of that, it took a while. Eventually, Beta came out with something where, yes, you can record the Super Bowl on it, but it was too late. VHS had already won the war. Now, I say that because that's what I think about all these cryptocurrencies. Almost anything can happen at this point. I know a lot of people want to buy it, they want to invest it, and they want to stick it aside. I'm not saying don't do that. What I'm saying is that do it with money you can afford to lose. Like if it's all of a sudden gone tomorrow, you're not hurting. Okay. If you have that gambling type personality, it's a good time. You jump in, you buy some Bitcoin now, you sell it when it gets high, then you buy some more when it gets low. That's if you have that gambling type personality. Go for it. Have a good time. You could probably make a lot of money. Okay. One of the reasons why I think that it can all go away is because you have, like I said, you have open sourced blockchain technology that's behind the cryptocurrency, and that blockchain technology is going to affect us in ways that we will never know. We can't see it. I mean, I know it's coming, but I don't know where it's going to take us. It's way out there. And what I think is going to happen is that, for example, it's going to get into healthcare, and you have an artificial intelligence being written, and you're going to merge the artificial intelligence with the blockchain technology. And once that happens, things are just going to change for us. They're going to change for us really, really fast. And I'm thinking that's only a good 5 years away. For example, healthcare is an example that once blockchain gets a hold of it, it's going to streamline things. You're going to see health cost care drop. Things are going to work out better for us. It's going to be faster for us, and we're all going to love it. We're going to wonder, what did we ever do? It's like now when those of us who lived our lives before cell phones, we wonder now, what did we do before cell phones? It's going to be like that when it comes to blockchain and healthcare. And Amazon has announced that, yes, they're getting into healthcare. So I know Amazon to be a very internet savvy and technology savvy company. So I'm positive what they're going to do is they're going to utilize the blockchain technology to get the healthcare going. Now, once people see that, blockchain is going to start affecting everything else. I'm positive that's what's happening. Maybe I'm wrong in some of the details of some of the timeline, but I'm positive it's heading in that direction. Now, again, going back to the cryptocurrency, the reason why I'm saying, you may not want to invest your life savings into it, it's kind of good for gambling, is because all it takes is for somebody like Amazon to create their own cryptocurrency. I know they're aware of the blockchain technology. They have to be. All they got to do is create their own cryptocurrency, start saying, look, we're using it on our website. You can buy it over here. You can use it on Amazon.com over here. And if you do use it, sort of like they have Amazon Prime now, here's the special deals you get. Now, Amazon is huge. So many people shop on Amazon. If they do that, all your other cryptocurrencies are going to kind of disappear. Now, I'm not saying Amazon's going to do that. That is a likely scenario. And it's interesting to see where we're going to go and how we're going to get there and all that good stuff. It's scary, but interesting at the same time. Anyway, again, with the cryptocurrency, I believe it's the blockchain technology behind it. When it comes to rideshare and self-driving cars, I still believe it's like 10 years away, but I believe you're going to have more companies like Enterprise and Alamo and Hertz. And if I'm forgetting anyone else, I apologize, but any of those rental car companies are going to start buying fleets of these self-driving cars, and they're just going to rent out per ride as opposed to renting out for days. They'll still have the days thing, but they're going to kind of do away with that. It'll also allow them to do away with a lot of their customer service personnel. You can just go to a kiosk. You can order a rental car from a kiosk. You can order it from the app that they're going to create if they don't have it yet. So it's heading in that direction. And I think it's very interesting. It's a little scared, but interesting. Anyway, I hope you liked it. If you did like this video, if you're interested about this, tell me what you think about the future and the blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies and all that good stuff. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Please write down in the comments below. If you like the video, like it, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, okay? This all helps the algorithm. More technology stuff. Thank you very much. Have a great day. This is your driver, Scott.